Welcome back to the Unprofessional Footballer Podcast. Joined with me today, we're actually starting season 2 now.
Yeah, is it season 2?
It's season 2. I wasn't ever planning to do seasons, but I ended up having a very long extended break from podcasting. So we're back. It's season 2 now. We'll pretend that was a thing. And starting off the season with a great guest. I'm going to go through a little intro that we wrote down just before. So originally from Canada, moved to Croatia, then went back across to America to play in Tulsa. Managed to find himself in the Maltese Premier League at Valletta FC, going all the way to the FA Cup final before making a move this season to Sirenes in the Premier League as well. Just about to complete a big move, new adventure. We'll get on to talk about that shortly. That's going to be in Estonia with the Premier League giants. Is it Kalju FC?
Kalju FC, yeah.
Kalju FC. And this is Promise David, striker. Big striker, 6'6".
You know what? Depending on the hairstyle.
Sometimes it can creep a little higher.
Sometimes 6'6".
Toby.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Why do most people call you Toby? I've always known you as Toby.
It was more, everybody called me Promise growing up, but then my parents, when I'm in trouble, would then call me Tobi. And when I had first moved to Croatia, I didn't like the way they were saying it. Maybe it was the accent, it threw me off. So I'm like, screw it. Everybody just call me Tobi, right? And at least Tobi, you can't really mess up in the pronunciation. Yeah. So I just kept it. I kept it as Tobi. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm unused to people calling me Tobi, but yeah. Promise Tobi is.
Because I always get confused because I looked up your player page on Transfermarkt, and obviously I see all the announcements when you're signing between teams, and you just see all the different names. I'm like, which one's the first name? Which one's the last name?
It's a long name. Promise Oluwatobi Emmanuel David. Mm-hmm. But then with the Maltese, they usually put the last name.
Yeah, that's
They put the last name first. Oh, man. Especially when I see my name on game sheets from my team. Sometimes they spell Toby with a Y. Sometimes they would put David Toby. Like, it'd just be a cluster of names in there. But, you know, whatever goes, as long as you know it's me.
Exactly. Eventually, you'll hit that point where everyone knows you as that certain name and it sticks. Right, so talk to me about, let's start with this season. You obviously moved to Sirenes at the start of the season. Talk to me about how the start of the season went.
Start of the season was rough, not gonna lie to you. I left, I was supposed to re-sign with Valletta. We couldn't come to terms or whatever. But I had played a game against Sirenes, and then to me, it was one of my best games in the Premier League, despite not scoring. But you know when you just put up a good performance? I had 2 assists, you know, a stellar second half, 45 minutes where it was a deadlock, 0-0. Everybody thought we were tied, but then, you know, a locker room talk at halftime will really boost you. And in fact, the GM told me that was when they decided in the summer transfer window they were going to try to pursue me, see what could happen. So I ended up signing for Sirenes, and yeah, it had its ups and downs, its rocky moments, but you know what? It's football.
I was going to say, it's kind of expected with football, isn't it? You always go through those seasons. Sometimes the hardest seasons end up being the most rewarding.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually, in Malta, how many players sign for opposition teams. You have one good game in Malta, and the team you're playing against always take note. Comes in to swoop, yeah. So we're kind of up to date with what you're doing now. So we said that at the beginning you're about to make a move to Estonia. Before we get on to obviously what's next for you in your career, I want to take it back to grassroots days, back when Toby wasn't big Toby, he was little Toby. Talk to me about growing up in Canada.
Born in Canada, but I actually moved to Nigeria for like 4 or 5 years, like 2 years after. So that's when I really started discovering soccer. My uncle was a Chelsea fan, and I remember we'd go to the bars and like we'd watch all the Chelsea games and all that stuff, and then, you know, come home. And my parents' house, there was like a compound in the driveway, and my grandmother's famous, so everybody wants to swing by her house. So we'd be playing footy there, but you know, if she catches you, you're in the hits. It's not a heap of trouble. But I came back to Canada, and I didn't really have any desire to play soccer or anything like that. But I had issues at school. You know, when the teacher says, "Oh, he's a distraction to himself as others. He's got too much energy in the classroom." So they're like, let's put that energy somewhere. And then they started me with the church soccer team. Okay. In fact, I still have all the photos. And it was me, a bunch of kids my age, and we would play in like youth leagues under the church. And I think someone said like, and there I was just, having fun, you're not really learning any skills. You're just running and toe poking it. And someone had come up to my parents and was like, hey, maybe you should register this kid in some, active competitive stuff. From there, house league. Is that what it's called? And, okay.
What's that? Like
it's like recreational, club, no.
We just call it grassroots.
Grassroots, yeah. So that's when that started like 2010? 2010. Yeah. And then from there, Coach Louise, my dad's over there. He's the one with the memory. A coach had come and he's like, there I was running rampant. I was a very fast kid. And, the games would end up being like 13-0 or so, you just have fun. And they're like, okay, put this kid one level higher. And then that's when I really started playing footy for real. I was like, maybe at the age of 11 or 10, really started having fun. And from there, it was just, I kept on going one step up until I ended up at a professional academy, which was Toronto FC at the time. Yeah. And that one was like, I spent my whole, call it my big 4-year grassroots thinking, it was just big fish, small pond, you know? I was just thought, nobody in this world could be as good as me. I got to Toronto FC and...
Bit of a reality check.
I was like, oh my God, there are people in this world that can actually play soccer in my age. My God. But that was really cool. I was at TFC and it was my first taste of professionalism, if that makes sense. And for them, it was really, they were trying to adapt the kind of UK mythology or the European mythology of these are very young kids. Yeah, they're trying to have fun. Yeah. But eventually some of these kids want to do this as a job, as a career. So they would really instill. We would train just like the first team, we would have our gym sessions. We would have this, make sure you wear your tracksuit on time, stuff like that. So I ended up spending 2-3 years in that academy. Got, eventually, when did we leave? 2016? 2016, 2015, there's like a new management, new coaches come in, people got to move out, people got to move in. And that's where I ended up at Vaughan. And there was when I really started,
cracking on,
creating with soccer. Cause now it was like, I got my first reality check of, you're not just cause you're good enough doesn't mean, you might fit in that place. So at first I was trying to take it. We were trying to go to school, NCAA, because, in the North American side of things, people it's not really let's go pro. It's let's get a scholarship.
It's a strange focus on scholarship, go through the draft system and try to
make it to the MLS right after. Yeah. So we did, it was 3 years of going, 2-3 years of, we played in our league, in fact, 3 years. In fact, my Vaughan team, to me, was one of my best teams. We were undefeated for 3 years. Mm-hmm. We won everything, all the cups, all the medals available, Ontario Cup, you name it, we won it. And we were going back and forth to the States, showcases, playing against other teams, playing against universities, in fact. Trying to get scholarships, people, you always have to do your school stuff. I ended up getting a few like D2 interests and then interests in Canada. But at the end of my school year, I was like, somebody hosted a camp. Mm-hmm. And it was one of like a trainer my dad had met. And he says, oh yeah, I train kids, blah, blah, blah. So my dad's like, sure, let's go. He ends up hosting a camp for a Division II side from Croatia who wanted to do what's it called, like a camp outside, like a scouting camp, stuff like that. And went there, crushed it. Me and my friend both got picked, just like that. Boom, we're handed professional contracts and we're on the other side of the country.
So before we talk about that first move across to Europe, just a few questions about Canada growing up. What would you say the level of opportunity is like in Canada for young, aspiring football players?
Back then, it was, if you weren't in the professional academy, you were going to school, you know? There wasn't too many things. But now, football's changed. Different opportunities are coming up. In fact, the CPL is like, it was the Canada's first, apart from the MLS with 3 Canadian teams.
Exactly.
CPL, so we kind of had our own league.
Finally, it broke away from just being associated with MLS.
So, now I know a bunch of my guys that we trained together, we grew up together. Now they're in the CPL. Now they're getting their chances to play pro, and it's turning into an import-export league. Players sign, they train, they play, other people see them, and just like that, you could see yourself out the country.
Well, I mean, you saw even just from the World Cup, Canada really have revamped their whole entire national team program.
We invested a lot. It's been a long time coming, people putting money into infrastructure, into academies, really trying to broaden and strengthen soccer, especially in my province. The skill level of players, and that World Cup showed it that we were capable of doing that. You know what? Maybe the next one is even being hosted.
That's exactly I mean, the one thing I've always liked about Canada is it doesn't have that bias towards the North American sports. Whereas you see somewhere like America, it has that big talent pool of
basketball,
athletes. They're all filtering into basketball, American football, baseball, ice hockey. Soccer's always an afterthought. Soccer is the sport that the players that don't make it into those sports then try and pick up when they're 15, 16, 17 years old, because they're trying to pick up scholarships to then go to university. Whereas I feel like Canada hasn't really had that bias towards American football. It doesn't have the bias towards...
Everybody did everything.
Exactly.
The only thing I think that was like the look was hockey. Kind of like Canada's sport is hockey. Like everywhere you go, there's an ice rink, especially when you go out of state.
Mainly the weather, right? The cold weather makes it ideal.
Makes it ideal for stuff like that. Doesn't really, if you're playing football, you play it indoors at a dome or something.
Exactly.
Very rare, unless it's summertime, you get to play outside.
There's a few of the temperature controlled like indoor facilities in Canada, isn't there? Where they regulate the temperature
100%,
just to keep it
100%,
warm enough to actually play.
100%.
But I find that transition that Canada's making football-wise really interesting. They're definitely a team to watch for the next 5-10 years. And some of the players they're producing right now are just
stellar.
Rising straight to the top of the game. And I think there's plenty more where that came from. So talk to me about Croatia. First experience in Europe.
Croatia was like, I'm getting a taste of the real thing. So it was me and a guy that I used to play with, Kyle Romich, and the two of us were like, of course we're going to say yes. Packed our bags. We flew there. We were on trial for, I think, maybe 3.5 days before they're like, let's sign, let's do this.
So it was like a conditional offer they gave you at the beginning. It was come, train. If everything's okay, we sign off.
You sign right away.
Perfect.
And we signed. We think everything's blue skies. I remember I was calling my parents after our first game. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't score, but they said I played good. They're gonna take me." Kyle's calling his parents. I kept a clean sheet. They said, "No." We were happy, chilling in our rooms. And then the next morning, we get a call, and it's the president, the person that was like funding this escapade, has been outvoted by his board member. And he's been, just basically kicked out the club. And me and Kyle were like,
"Oh no!"
We're like, what the hell's gonna happen to us? So the coach comes up to us and he's like, "You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You're great players, but we can't keep you on our dime." And me and Kyle were like, "Damn." So we go to the president, and then we could have gone like 2 routes. We could have stayed, played it out, or the president gave us another option of going to a rival club that he had connections with, and they were going to put us on trial there. And this is the thing I was saying about football. It could go up, it could go down. You're just going to have to roll the dice, make your decisions, and live with it. We're like, okay, screw it. We went. And the team was called Inter Zaprasic. We go. I train. personally, I believe I met the standard. Kyle gets his phone call. Yeah, Kyle, they're going to be keeping you. Kyle starts going crazy. Oh my gosh, bro, I just got the call. I'm looking at my phone waiting for it to ding. And then I get a text. I'm going to call you in a few minutes. I'm like,
it doesn't sound.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too happy. So I'm like, if you're going to tell me I made it, right? Just break it. It's like, the club is bringing back a striker they have that's on loan at another club. And I'm like, damn. So what does that mean for me? They're like, it's not that they don't want to take you. It's just there's no need to take you. I'm like, I was going to break down in my room crying. I called the president. President's like, I called the team that I went back that I was at. I'm like, is option still on the table? They're like, no, we took it off. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, I'm stranded. So the agent ended up saying, okay, I have another club, 3rd division, but you won't play for the youth team. You'll play for the senior team, but you have to play with the youth team just till you get your papers, blah. You'll be fine. We went there and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And the thing about that Croatian league setup, when I really got to see it, was that 1st division pros. These are young people in their prime. The 2nd division was players still young, but just not of the same quality as first. The 3rd division was filled with kids my age, 18, or grown men that had already played and
are now filtering
but these are guys that, even though their body can't do what it used to do up here,
mentally they're sharp.
They're great. So spent a few months there. I was training, I get my papers, and then I get a call from the agent. Oh, we need you to sign the agent's agent player contract. Me in my head, this is guy paid for my apartment, paid for my food, everything is green, blue skies and green grass. And this is one thing I'll warn to all players, is that make sure your agency and your agent is someone you can trust and someone that's fair and willing to work for you. Thankfully mine is. And when he said the contract, I'm like, who cares, bro? Sign. And then my parents called me and they're like, did you read it? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't read it. I didn't read nothing. I mean, this is somebody
how old are you at this point?
I'm fresh 18.
Okay.
Fresh 18. Something like when you see big, like, don't be mesmerized, right? I want to see, can we pause? I want to see if I can still find the details of the contract on my phone.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you still have the contract, Dad? I mean, to put it lightly, it was slavery.
Yeah.
It was a lifetime slavery contract. Lifetime. And I was ready to sign it for 2 reasons. The guy had given me, I remember when I was there, I was driving his Benz. House, I was living in his house when I was living in a nice apartment. What else is? When we landed, $5K cash, no questions asked, And for
these are all the sort of things that, as you get a bit older and a bit wiser, you realize these are the things that make you forget that you've actually got to read.
I landed, and bro, this apartment mansion, we were living there. Those places you can't even reach with public transportation. It was, we were driving in like an S-Class Mercedes or something. Me and Kyle were just gallivanting the city. Like, we were having fun. And now he gives me the contract and I read it. And after my parents broke it down for me, what's an agent compensation? 10%? FIFA 10%. He wanted 30 before taxes or anything. 30 off the number, right?
Yeah.
He wanted 30% of the sale, 30% of the contract. He wanted rights to the player for advertisements, for all the sponsorships. He wanted I wasn't allowed to talk, like, just as I'm talking about my deal now, I can't talk to you about my deal. If I talk to you about my deal and you find out, I have to pay a 10,000 euro penalty to him. The deal had to be a lifetime, like, it can't break. I'm like, what do you die? It gets passed on to his. I'm like, this can't even be legal. There was just a bunch of stuff that will make you go.
I'm starting to realize why he lives in such a nice house and has one of these nice cars.
And at the time, I'm thinking to myself, like, who cares? Like, I'm so eager
to be a professional
footballer, and I've already been wooed with all these things. I think that's how my life is gonna be, and. You know, thank God for my mother. My mother stayed on FaceTime with me like this, and she wrote, "Okay, Promise, if you make $100 and he takes 30 and taxes take this and this," and I'm like, at one point, I think I ended up with negative money, and I'm like, damn. And he's like, it's a lifetime deal. Yeah. And then one thing my mom brought my attention to is that if I signed it and I was suffering, now I can't speak about it.
No, exactly.
I'm screwed. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. So I ended up having I can't do this just like that. Thank God for my parents. I was on my own.
Honestly, these strange contracts exist. I remember when I had Patricia.
Oh, yeah.
She was telling a story about how she got put in touch with some, I think it was Chilean agent, and she got given this contract in I think it must have been Portuguese or Spanish, and she couldn't understand it. Just before she signed it, she sent it to someone to get it translated. It ended up like they were ready to harvest all of her organs, everything. Like, they were going to make her disappear. She was about to sign up for it. And then she was like, oh shit. Like, let me get out of here real quick. So yeah, always read the contract.
Always read the contract. And
make sure you get a second, third, fourth opinion.
Bro, who did we have on the phone? We had Mom, we had you, Coach Anthony, the agency that I signed with now, even told me, don't sign this. Yeah. I know we aren't working together, but human being to human being, this is not it. So just like that, he's like, okay, you can stay at the club at the third division I played. I had my own troubles there, but you know what? That was the end of that first one. But am I allowed to go into detail about?
Yeah.
Okay, dang. Now, got to the club. I played how much? I arrived in August. My papers weren't ready till December.
Just work permit wise.
Yeah. Let me jog my memory. It's been a while. Did I play the first 6 months with the senior team yet? I didn't play.
Because without the work permit, you're not allowed to play.
But I think did I get the work permit before? I got the work permit before I left. So I think I played. No, but I played in the junior team ever since. But did I play? I think I played a few games with the senior team. But remember I went home, Christmas, came back. Yeah, so I think I played two or three matches nearing the end. So.
What, during your whole time there?
No. During the first 6 months.
During the first 6 months.
So during the first 6 months, we're looking at August to December, right? So work permit's waiting. I'm training with the senior team. And one thing I realized is that, I don't know, it's just because I'm North American or just because it wasn't part of my game. I got to see the difference in skill and mentally how much better the Europeans are on average than the average North American footballer. So now I get there and these guys are knocking balls. Mm-hmm. I can outrun them. I can outbody them, but
that technical gap
was really there. And it came to a point, it's so embarrassing to say, that the coach would make me go on the sideline. They had a ball on a string hanging in the air, and he would make me do contact and hit it perfectly in that middle mount where the ball isn't gonna down bounds or up bound. So he had to hit it like on a spare time, he'd make me just go. And, you know, and at first I'm thinking, I'm a better player than this. You know, I thought it was above me, but it really did help me, you know, catch up with these other guys.
Attention to detail does really make a difference.
It makes a life difference. So, you know, I was there training grass, sprinting, and then I started playing with the junior team. And that one was interesting because it was first division. Even though they were third division club, their junior team played first division. So you're playing against Dinamo Zagreb's youth team, you know, those big
good
clubs.
Opportunities for you to show yourself.
And at the time, their school system was 1 year behind. So I was still playing against people my age, even though I'd left school. So I was there. I had a few, you know, guys that I was close with. And when I played there, I remember I got to play 1 month before my work permit, and I played my first. And I'd even trained with the youth team, so they didn't know me. I just showed up to the game, and only one guy on the team that knew me and told me, "Oh, this is so and so. We're playing with us. Everything was fine." Get there, and first game, I think we won 2-1, and this was my first game in 5 months. Like, I'm excited, but I'm hungry. Like, I haven't been able to celebrate or anything. And for me, it was like a moment for me. We ended up winning 2-1, got 1 assist. We went up 1-0. It was me and my friend. Funny enough, he was Canadian Croatian. So me and him really meshed, and they scored 1-1. And like 85th minute, the center back plays ball to center back, and like I anticipated the pass, run down the line, chip the goalkeeper, and like I was so happy. Like, this was it wasn't my first professional goal, but it was my first goal in like a professional setting. I did like 6 celebrations. I did the Mbappe, I did the Ronaldo, did the Messi. I was celebrating like a madman. And it was the joy of seeing my teammates celebrate with me that really kept me, you know, happy at that time. In fact, the guys, you know, there was a few players with the senior team, young players also play with the junior team. So they were like, "Oh my God, finally, like it's all paid off." So like, and I left on that note. I feel like I played like 3 games, like 6 goals, whatever. I'm stoked. I go home. I'm excited to tell my parents I was going. The team didn't sign me. Come back. Coach is gone. New coach comes in, and I'm like, it don't matter. I know what I'm getting. I got my work permit. You know, I'll be fine. Just play. I get there, and then this is when things start going bad for me. Took the ball from like the top of the circle, ran this way across the goal, took a big touch. Goalie comes out, it's like a small dink over the goalkeeper.
Just that little lift.
And like, you know when you've shot the ball, but it's not like a hard shot, and like you're waiting for it to cross the line, and you're like, please, 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 please. Goes in, went mad.
So I'm awful. I don't wait for it to go in. I'll run off celebrating already.
because I'm sprinting this way and I've shot this way. So I'm already out of like space. I'm not out of space, but like I can't get there before the defender.
So now you're just playing the waiting game.
I'm on my knees. I'm like, God.
On your bouncing, getting ready.
I'm like, let it go in.
This is where you're trying to decide what celebration to do. Bro. And now you're like, I don't care. I'll do them all.
I'm doing them all. So I leave. I come back and I do another 6 months there, but now I'm playing fully with the junior team. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I with the junior team? You know? And so I still play with the junior team. It was okay. I played with the seniors, with juniors, back and forth. Yeah. And with the juniors, it was like stat padding. You know, I played 6 games, like 18 goals. You know, it's just stat pad. And it was really, really fun because you got to play against
top teams, youth
academies. And it was very like the city of Zagreb was very, very like interconnected. Everybody, it's like Malta. Everybody knew everybody, so it was good. So
you are starting to build a bit of a reputation.
Yeah. With the
figure out who you are.
Like, who's the black guy on my team? So now my first real taste of like a kind of disgusting side of football was like the racism aspect, because you're not.
I was going to ask what the culture clash was like when you come from North America to Europe for the first time.
It's really big because the Europeans don't understand American history and the bad side to it, right? So they can say insensitive things that they don't realize are insensitive, but you have to understand it's not where they're coming from. Like sometimes they can, and you just know it. In fact, like, you know, they'd say a racist joke, but like they mean it as like locker room gaffes, you know. So you kind of have to have like tough skin and just take it. But then you have to know where to kind of like draw the line. Like,
to pull someone aside and be like,
yeah, it can't fly. I don't think I've told you this. There was this one guy on my team, youth player, you know, rich cocky bastard. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. The guy would call me in their language. He would see me and say, "Yes, I'm Darko." Okay. That means I'm the blackie or something. Like I'm the black. Like he called me Darko. Like he wouldn't call me Toby. And I look at him like, bro, don't call me that. Yeah. Don't call me that. Don't call me that. And he'd laugh it off. He's not serious. And then one day I just flipped, right, and lost my cool. And I wished I handled it differently, but at the same time,
you got.
I had to. At one point, at one point, you just gotta let it go and like let them know, like, hey, it's not cool. But like, this is just someone that's ignorant that doesn't want to learn. So
the tough thing as well is they're your teammates.
You expect it from other people.
Like on the pitch against opponents, you know, okay, they're trying to get in my head. They're trying to get in my head. But when it's every day at training,
it really grinds
you down.
And eventually you just flip off. The first time I ever experienced it from the opponent was, you can redact it. I was playing Dinamo Zagreb, right? Youth team. Everybody wants to be Dinamo. They were like the squad to beat. And I remember I knew a few guys on their team. It's not like I didn't like them, but I didn't want to lose to them.
Yeah.
So I had extra motivation. So get to the game, headphones in, you know, everybody's hyped. Nobody says nothing. Everybody knows what's at stake. We get there, do the warm up, blah, 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 ready to go. We go up. I score a header off a corner, like the 15th minute. We go up 1-0. Like 10 minutes later, somebody slides me a through ball. We go up 2-0. And now it's 2-0 first half. We weren't the better team. But if you're not the better team, you're up 2-0. You got to fall back and Jose Mourinho build a wall, park a bus, and time waste, all that stuff. So now the game's going on. Ball finally goes out for a throw-in. And I start hearing like monkey chants in the crowd. And I'm like, they're not serious, right? And then at the time, they didn't understand that I'd been there so long that I actively tried to learn their language. And like, you know, they would speak between themselves and something. You could hear it. And then somebody would like say a snide remark, but in their language, right? But they don't think someone of my color would kind of get a grips on their language and what they were saying. So at one point, I just kicked the ball, booted it right at the stands, and we got a yellow for it, but we moved. And that was the nasty side of football that you don't really expect. So
what was the language barrier like in Croatia? Did most of them speak English? Or?
No, everybody spoke English to a certain degree. Like the youth spoke English. They either spoke it very well or they spoke broken English, but everybody kind of understood English because their youth was kind of fascinated with American culture. So everybody kind of grasped it. When it came to old people, it was really a 50-50 toss up. So in fact, I wouldn't go out without a Croatian buddy that could translate for me. But no, it was like a 50-50 toss-up between English. But, where did we head to? I went back home after that season. So now we're in 2020, right? 2020 in the summer, going into the next season.
Yeah.
This is when a new coach showed up. Okay. So I had no notion, no nothing. I didn't know anything. So I'm thinking, I'm just keep my head down, do my thing. I'm gonna be all right. And then I start to notice, like, I'd come to training and I wouldn't fully train all the way, or, you know, I'd be on the B team or something. I'm like, what the hell's going on? What's going on?
You're not wanted anymore.
And then, you know, I'm like, I was just confused. And then we would, for example, you do a training session. You do your warm-up, passing exercises, your possession drills. Okay, time for a small-sided game, mini game, 8v8. we would have, let's say we'd have a V8, right? And there's 17 players. I'd be the one player that wouldn't play, and I would jog, wait for my substitution.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be in that situation, but that's what coach wants. I guess now when I go in, it's me to double down.
Exactly.
And
You're trying to prove yourself now. You can't get that chip on your shoulder. Like,
that's what I
if I
do.
get less minutes than everyone else, I'm going to make these minutes count. I'm going to try and
do
put
something.
a positive spin on this.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And then I'd go in, do my thing, not 100% every time, right? Because, we're only human. But then now I notice is sometimes I wouldn't even come in. Mm-hmm. Like the next week, I would just be jogging. Like, how can you come to a training session and not train?
It's not running club.
Yeah, I'm not a sprinter. And then I'm left out of possession drills the week later. Mm-hmm. One time we had uneven numbers and he purposely played like an 8v7 game. Not even like make a neutral, right? 8v7, just so I would be there running. And when I really got the kicker was when we were doing a sprinting exercise. Mm-hmm. Let's say he says, you got to sprint 5 meters here and then 10 meters back. I sprint 5 meters there, 10 meters back. Everybody sprinted 5 meters there, 10 meters back. He screams at me, why didn't I sprint 10 meters there, 10 meters back? I'm like, that's not what you asked, right? And then thank God for, nice people. My teammate, Marco Gashba, comes up to me and he's like, bro, nobody here has the stomach to say it, but the coach doesn't like you for so-and-so reason.
Exactly.
And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, you just like, you don't fully understand our language, but he talks about you in the nastiest way. Yeah. And I'm like, really? And like when he like said the stuff he said back to me, I was like, is that really what it's been? Mm-hmm. And funny enough, there's a guy on Floriana right now, Carlo Zamit. He just transferred from Sirenes to Floriana. And in that period where Carlo was on trial in Croatia at a different few clubs, he ended up in my club. And I'm like, yo, where are you from? He's like, oh, I'm from Malta. I'm like, funny, I have a friend on my team in Canada from Malta. He's like, oh, that's my cousin. So it's when I really knew Malta was a tight place. So Carlo, you saw it firsthand what I was dealing with on a short trial period there. And it came to a point where I remember he used to call me the nastiest things in training. But then I didn't have the stomach to call my parents and say, this is what I'm dealing with. No agents.
You don't want to put your burden on everyone else.
It's not even just put my burden. It's like, I'm like, this is like, if my parents hear this, they're just going to say, okay, pack it up, come home. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I don't want to come home.
You're just so set on achieving your dream.
Yeah. Like, I would get the worst from this guy. And I'm like, I just can't. They're like, why aren't you playing? And I'm like, it's not good. Eventually I broke it and just told my parents like, yo, coach is racist as fuck. Like he just doesn't want me there. So then a week before the season starts, he tells me, okay, you're going to be playing with the youth team this year. And now I'm playing 1 year below because I've turned 19. So I'm like, why am I playing with the youth team? He's like, oh, yes, this is not right. Da-da-da. And like every coach can have an opinion, but it can only be false to a certain degree. Yeah. So it was a rough 6-month barrier for me. And at this point we started working with Majestic. Yeah. So not on paper, but he started, trying to find
unofficially looking.
Yeah. I think you met with him in that summer. Yeah. They met a lot, but he hadn't met me at the time. But one thing I appreciate is that he was willing to work for me despite me not signing for him, which was uncommon. But then he, for some God-given reason, decided he was going to put his faith in this random kid that was abroad the seas, never met, and try to work with him. So eventually, coach gets fired. 4 months later, coach gets fired. So I suffered maybe 4 months of hardship playing with the junior team, missing payments, meals. They put me in one little room shack somewhere, and everybody thinks you're living life, but really you're you're going through it
and you kind of have to play the game a little bit and just
suck
on social media or on like to the outside world. You have to pretend everything's fine and things are all right.
I used to tell my friends that was slum city. It was slum city. It was just slum.
The closest people around you get the actual insight of what's going on, but everyone else, you kind of just have to put up that wall of everything's fine. I'm just going for a patch, or I'm trying to get back into the team, whatever.
Yeah, but playing with the junior team, the only benefit was we used to train twice a week, because some people would have school. So I would show up to both training sessions. I'd still be increasing at the same rate that I was. Oh my God, I got huge. I got very big. I think I wasn't big. I was big in high school, but I didn't play big. It was after I moved abroad that I really started, growing into my height and weight and everything like that. So being in Europe at that time was like a real change the way I play and, operate. But
how do you think it affected you kind of maturity wise? Did it force you to grow up a lot faster than you probably would have otherwise?
For sure.
Having to deal with kind of that level of hardship
on
your own, away from everyone.
100%. I think in fact, that was my first time away from home, right? And it was my first, float away and fly and do whatever you want and, eat however you please. So it was like, can you discipline yourself? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it was such a bad time, but because I made it through that such bad period of time, it kind of prepared me.
Makes you appreciate every other little bit of success you get now.
So now it's like you can endure more in this job force.
As I've always said, until you push yourself into your uncomfortable,
you can't
never
grow.
really learn the deepest parts of your resilience and ability to persevere when times are tough.
For sure.
Also, one thing I also like to say is, unless you reach the lowest lows, you'll never really appreciate the highest heights, because there's nothing to differentiate.
Facts. You just think,
everything is just normal.
It's just a normal day for you. So now it's halfway through the season. Coach gets fired.
Yeah.
I'm like, when I hear the news, I'm jumping in my bedroom.
Celebrating, bro. I've had that situation before. It's the most relieving feeling. You get a sudden rush of joy, like, oh my God, hope.
Yes.
Is this going to finally be it now?
And the icing on the cake was the junior team coach that I sweat, train, score. He had so much faith in me as a player, became the head coach.
Okay.
And he basically called me. He's like, yeah, you're no more junior player today. You're rolling with me. I'm like, yo, what else can I say? I was happy. So back to senior team training. Everybody sees me, and when they see me and not the coach, they realize like, oh, fuck, he's finally back. Because they would see me, same team but different levels. They'd see me coming into training and be like, oh, how are you? Hope things are going good, but not gonna actually train with them. And
it's nice that they kind of kept that personal touch up with you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you have clubs and they've got that kind of youth level and the senior level, there's a big divide.
There's a big divide. No. These guys are like, we use the same, not use the same change room, but at different times. So when one's coming in and one's coming out, so then you see each other on that transaction. And when I called my parents, I think it was an away game, like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
And first game, I'm nervous as hell. We go up 1-0. 2-0, and then I get put into the game, and the coach is like, don't make me regret, but like, show me what you were doing. Show me you can do it here. And now it's a grass field. I had no idea, like metal studs so I was slipping like crazy. I was trying to catch my footing, missing tackles. Or I'm like, bro, maybe I should have stayed. Nah. So now we get scored on off a corner. It wasn't my man, but in my head, I'm thinking, I came on at 2-0.
Yeah. 5
minutes later, it's 2-1.
Stop putting blame on yourself. Yeah.
Even though it wasn't my fault, so I blamed myself. Exactly. So, I had like 1 or 2 chances. I played one off. The guy missed it. The other chance just didn't do well with the shot. And I was like 5 minutes left, and like my friend plays me a ball. defender like mishits it, and I kind of like slot, and it kind of like bounces on my feet, and I'm like, in that moment you're like, yeah, you just can't miss this one. Slotted it home. And the best part was that even on the celebration, that's why I think it's important to have a good team and your teammates and everything. Everybody that celebrated with me were celebrating like me overcoming
all the injustice
in the past. They're like,
you
now
feel that emotion behind the celebration.
Everybody's like, now you're back. Now you can play. Now you can score. Now you can do this. So I played four more matches with the senior team before I'm like, Road team is like, bro, I'm gonna try to find you a new gig. Just come back to Canada. So at this time we had signed with Majestic, and like God bless this man. Where did we go? We went to Tulsa. He picked me up from the airport. It was me and another kid. We went on open trial, right? Not even like, he just put us in open trial. 2 weeks, the first week the trial ended, they're like, oh, we want to keep you for another week. We see this. And then the coach was like, okay, we'll keep you, like we'll sign you, blah. Give you housing, all that.
It's quite common in America for open trials and combines. They're really into that side of showcase.
They don't want to miss any talent by accident, because you never know where talent could be hiding.
So they'll invite as many people in as possible.
Bro, they'll take the whole city if they can.
Exactly, honestly. So especially for people kind of from that North American region, if you're looking at open trials and
it's definitely a good route
in America for sure. Good route to take. Don't feel like because it's an open trial when you haven't personally been invited
that they're not looking. They're looking at everything.
Give you an opportunity.
Get there.
Because in England it's much different. If you go to open trials in England,
bro, they're just there for the guap.
Yeah, it's fake. It's all money. They've got maybe one or two players they've invited down. They just don't want them to train with the actual team yet. So then some
people have already made the team and they're at the open trials.
So they'll just invite people down to basically take spots and give the players they actually want to watch someone to play against. But so tell me, what was it like kind of going back from Europe to North America? Because obviously most people see the switch
as a step
backwards. No. They think Europe is obviously like the promised land for
it is in a way, yeah.
So how did the agent kind of sell you on going back to America? What was it that made you think, actually, that's the right step for me right now?
What made me got the trial was my friend's dad would record our youth games on his, just like this, record the youth games. So at the time I didn't have any clips. Like, what was I going to show them? High school stuff? I've been out of school for like a year and a half. So I asked him for the stuff. He compiled it. Leon Dokic, shout out. He got all the stuff together. Sent it to the FC Tulsa, like, okay, come in. Did the trial, signed. For me, it was a big step because now I was moving into another professional environment where a senior team football where people are being paid to do this job once again. You're training day in, day out. You're flying to other places, doing this, doing that. And once again, I'm like, I signed, I'm good. Like, now it's just a train and blah, blah, blah. So
is Tulsa USL?
USL, USL Championship.
So for people that don't know, that's second tier USA, right?
It's like a professional league, but now it's like disassociated from the MLS. Yeah. So it used to be the MLS, and then the USL was still a professional Division
like
1
league in terms of like feeder leagues to bring players through
to the MLS. Yeah. So like most teams in the MLS would have a USL team that competes in the USL.
I had a little experience with LA Wolves back when I was in America, and I used to train with them a little bit when a few of my boys used to play with them.
Just before or after uni?
Just before uni, actually. Yeah, just before uni. I was coaching at the time. I was coaching around the West Coast and got invited to come down to a training session or two, just check out what the environment was like.
I know you're in love with LA.
I do like LA.
You got that, bro. I remember when I walked in, it was funny enough, like, of course, Matt Sheldon, right? Yeah. So everybody's watched at least a Matt Sheldon video by accident or on purpose. So I like being the trialist is always important when you come on trial to like put a good foot forward. And the best way to do that and the easiest way to do that is when you see everybody, you know, shake and acknowledge
be friendly,
all the players. So I'm going in, yo, what up? Yo, what's up? Nice to meet you. Yo, Promise, ciao. And I shake this guy's hand and I'm like, you're Matt Sheldon. And that's when my brain clicked, like, oh damn, this is where he plays. And he was like, yeah, nice to meet you, man. And then I was like, starstruck. Like, I ran outside. I got my phone. Tagged down. Started texting all my friends, like, bro. I'm at trial at Matt Sheldon's team right now. And a few of my friends were like, nah, we don't believe you. And I kind of put my phone around the corner. And I was like, let me snap a pic. Sent it back. And like, oh, snap. It's him. And everybody was like, take a picture, like, do something to him. Tell him I said hi. Because like we used to watch those videos all the time. So, you know, being at Tulsa was a good start, even though it was a whole rocky season for me. I got there with me and my friend Kembo. We were, funny enough, me and my friend, we knew each other at TFC. When I was leaving, he was coming in, and he eventually left as well. But the month before that, you know, five-a-side, just like me and you do, five-a-side with the guys. And then I would pull up and I'd hear this guy, yo, Kembo, ball. Oh, yo, Kembo, spin. Yo, Kembo, pass me the ball, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, Kembo, sounds familiar. And then I showed up to Tulsa like a month later, and he had just come back from loan from Houston Dynamo, I think. Yeah. So I was like, oh, damn, Kembo. And he saw me, he's like, oh, Promise, no? And then just like that, we clicked. So, you know, it always helps
the settling period when there's someone, even just a familiar face. You don't have to be boys, but as long as there's someone familiar, you kind of
gel together,
and it just makes that whole settling period a bit easier.
Sure.
I know my recent experience with Zurich. If I didn't have Melvin there, bro, it
would have been a rough one.
Honestly, I don't know how long I would have lasted.
Shout out to Melvin. Real guy, fam.
So how did the season start then for you?
Season started rough because now I'm starting bottom of the litter pile. Am I allowed to trash talk on this?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I'm trash talking.
Unprofessional footballer, bro.
I'm trash talking. So I'm a trash talk eventually. But I get there, and this is why I say soccer or football is not, it's a great sport to play, but it's not always a fair sport. It's ruthless. You know? It's a ruthless business where what you may think is not what the next person's thinking. What you may want is not what the next person wants.
It's the problem with it being an opinionated subjective sport.
So at the end of the day, all you can do, the only thing the people can't lie is with stats. Stats will shut down opinions right away. So I get there, bottom of the litter pile. I'm training, I'm putting in my max effort, I'm going doing my thing, whatever. And at this time, I'm, you know, gelling with the teammates. A lot of guys, Joaquin, Kembo, Kieran. Everybody's like, now everybody knows everybody, officially signed, everybody, you know, just kind of together. And then I don't play the first game. I don't play the second game. I don't play the third game. At this point, I'm like, okay, now 3 weeks in, I know I came late. So I was like the last signing. Like, let me talk to the coach. It's like, yeah, you know, we've got, we already kind of got our team set up. You know, there's people ahead of you. There's people, you know, I know that I have deals with, that I want to play them, that I believe in them. You know, I don't really believe in you that much yet. You're just, you know, you're new, you're coming in. You should be excited just to train. Yeah,
like, bro, I come here to play.
I came here to play. So it was just, the whole season was a blur of me waiting for a chance, you know, on the bench to play, but the chance just wasn't coming.
Yeah.
And then the worst part is like the frustration starts to build up, and I don't want to like I'm gonna trash talk. Our striker didn't register a shot on, like, our striker for half the season didn't register a shot on net, you know? And then when you're a striker watching your team lose in the stands,
I've been there.
And you know, the guys don't even want to really do it. Like, they come to training, like specifically one person, they come to training to take the piss, and then you know, you're trying to get in training, prove what you can do. People aren't taking this serious. Remember one time I was like, this was my, like, there was one striker, there was one spot on the bench, and the way our team was lined up, it was kind of obvious it was going to go to a striker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, bro, I've been killing it lately. It's got to be me. The coach picks the other guy. Damn.
I've seen a team, the team I was playing for last season. We're in the playoff final to go up and
to go up in the league.
Go up to Division 1.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 strikers on the team. 3. The other one's like a 19-year-old, doesn't play, just come up from minors, but isn't really good enough to play for the seniors yet. But they had the foreigner as a striker, and then me, Maltese local player. But I'm the sub striker. Now I come to terms with the fact that, okay, maybe because he's a foreigner, he's going to get preference anyway. But if he's not performing, I expect to come on. So we're 2-1 down. There's 5 minutes left to try and get promoted.
So this is for all the chips.
It's it's all or nothing now.
Yeah.
Take defenders off, start bringing strikers on. I'm thinking, okay, getting ready. I'm like, I'm definitely going to come on. He subs on a centre back to play him up front,
bro. Some coaches
instead of me, and I was just like, "What?"
Coach decisions will leave you.
I'm never playing. I'm never going to play for this team.
Decisions from coaches will leave you baffled, and the worst part is you'll lose the game, and you're like, It's like what did we have to this was it. This was the game to win, right? And it went from goal. Oh, we do have to pull it back. I'm not a striker. I'm a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I went from goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, striker.
Before he was a goalkeeper at that time. But they played with boys and girls together. So from there they took him out. At that time they told me that this guy is so energetic because it's very fast. Well, I wish he can keep that speed up to today. Oh no. Promise put the ball on the sideline, it's gone. So when he pull out from there, they play house league. At that house league, you remember you play 2 teams.
Yeah.
I have to take you from one team of the city to the other one. Once you play this one, Philip, I'll pick him up right away.
There's another game.
Change inside the car, put it another new jersey. We got there with the second half or maybe second half of the game. Even though they are losing, when we scored 10 goals, when we sit down there, a parent said, "Are you the father of this kid?" I said, "Yeah." Said, "Take this kid away from here. It's too much for this kid. No, it doesn't work. Take him to the house league." So we got to the house league. That is where what is this city town called? This area?
Oh, it's like you play for.
So county for England, it would be each region.
Yeah. So it said, then that is how we start Brampton East and Brampton Youth.
Okay.
So it's the same, but they are different areas. Half an hour drive. So that club called Red Devil. The Brampton East called Red Devil.
Who are we? Red Devils.
He started there with the Coach Louis and he's playing with Coach John in another house league. So he finished that one the same day.
So he's playing two separate leagues at the same time.
Same day. So we traveled from one place to 15 minutes drive. So the father drive like a James Bond. Many times I get speeding ticket because we missed So he missed those parts. But at that time he was doing well. Then we joined this. Then they won the Ontario, the Little League, one cup, one trophy, medal. Then he went to Brampton U. That's when he started moving on. The coach wasn't happy. We paid to train them. Nobody's free, so we paid from our pocket.
I still remember the meeting we had with Coach Luis, and he's like, "Don't let him go, man. Let him stay."
When the coach about to cry for
because he's really my dad too. He was my dad.
That please don't let the boy go.
It's honestly it's the toughest part as a coach when you get attached to players.
In fact, we probably have to go back and have to go deeper into youth career if
we'll pull it back. I've got some questions that are more kind of personal anyway.
His memory back, so
of course.
So from there, we go to Brampton Youth. Brampton Youth was intensive team.
Yeah.
They are young kids and very energetic and very good. So it's like Champions League.
Yeah.
Very competitive at age 11, 10, 12. So Promise is a striker that when they started playing in the
no skill, all strength.
So from the church, he was a keeper, then after keeper because I was a keeper. So And he's tall.
Naturally, he gravitated towards being in goal.
So he put him in the net. But I was so mad that when, as a keeper, you get the ball, you don't use your hand, you only use your leg to. When you get the ball, you want to dribble everything and go and score by yourself. I said, no, we got to switch. So that is when you start playing soccer. It's okay, we put him. And when you get the ball, he doesn't like to pass. He just want to go and go by himself. He will take the ball on to the, because he can speed. Just put the ball, boom, in the net. So Bradley, the guy, love him. They travel all over the Ontario province, win the tournament. I always be at the sideline. I remember this guy always hear my voice. I'm the side coach.
Oh, Jack, continue.
Tell me what to do.
Jack,
and he look at my face, and when he get the ball, I speak my language, tell him what to do. Then
don't
stay that place, go to that corner. So we have fun together. From there, he won the best player 3 times in a row, won Golden Cup, a Golden Ball. And the day he won Golden Ball, that day, that's the first time I knew that,
Do you have a trophy cabinet of all of these trophies?
We did. They took it down.
Took it down.
You know what it was? It was in my house. It was in my bedroom. I left. My sister cleared out my room. She took because my sister's, our house is not big, but like they have a big room, 2 beds.
Yeah.
I have my own room, and then there's a guest room nobody touches.
Okay.
So when I left, straight transfer.
Yeah.
So we have everything in the bed.
Okay. So everything's still there.
We have a big house. We have 5-bedroom, big house. 450 square feet. So it's a big house. So we move everything. I said, don't touch it. We pack it because nobody lives there. And it's not back again. To breathe. So the girl, her sister, they are 2 right now. Said, it's not coming. So if we put everything in the box and put it in the basement, I will take a picture and send it.
Should move forward or backtrack?
Go forward. We'll pull it back a little later on. I've got some personal questions anyway, so we can pull up back then.
Let's see. Tulsa.
So you started off a bit rocky at Tulsa. Weren't playing. You spoke to the coach.
She's like, I got try. But then I'm like, the person in front of me is not trying, and it's evident. And funny thing, like on the sideline, I'd even hear the coach, like, bro, what is this guy doing?
Angry with the player, and you're like, how do you still rate this guy?
Why is he still here? And somebody else would come in, and I like the guy, but at the end of the day, the guy wasn't even like. So I'm like, bro, at least just give me a shot.
Yeah.
My teammates are telling me, what can they tell me? Yo, pick your head up, bro. Keep going hard. And at the end of the day, even though it sounds like annoying advice, there's one guy, Mo Jadama. I think you met Mo. Tall Gambian with the locks, defender at Tulsa. Yeah. So shout out to Mo. Mo was the best thing I could like God's blessing on me in Tulsa. Cause one, Mo was a defender. I was a striker. Mo was a starter. I wasn't. So in trainings, starting teams always going against the junior team.
Yeah.
And Mo made me add post up play into my arsenal. Before and nobody's ever asked me, nowadays everybody wants a Lukaku or a Giroud, to hold up, let the team
play
get
with your back to goal, be able to hold off 3 players by yourself.
Never played hold up striker.
No.
Nobody even if I was big, nobody dared to ask me, right? And I just never had it in my skill set. But then because I just always had the ability to get the ball in spaces where I didn't have to play. Yeah, where in fact I used to hate playing with my back to goal. That if you played me with that back to goal, my teammates at Vaughan always knew this. I'd let the ball go. I'd fake it, put it through my legs, do some stupid spin, pass it off. But I hated it. So when I got to Tulsa, Mo forced me to learn that. Mo, forgetting, there was another defender there, a Latino dude. I forgot his name. I feel bad, but these are 2 big guys. Even though I was big, these were men. I was still like a kid. That stupid tricks aren't working on these guys. This is someone that I forget his name. It's gonna hurt me. He played in the MLS. He guarded Zlatan. when he was there at LA Galaxy. So these are guys that really, really know how to play. So even though I didn't get as much playing time at Tulsa, it was more like my skill set, my arsenal grew. And, you know, that's why you have to, even if you don't play, you know, you always have to take the training seriously, because you'll only better yourself for when the time comes, you know?
That's the experience I've been passing on to a few of the juniors I've got at Gargore at the moment, is they're getting opportunities to train with the senior team.
You can't take it lightly. You got to go hard.
And I'm telling them, I'm saying, look,
some kids won't, you know?
You got to take that. I don't, even if you're a bit reserved about going back up, like training with the seniors equates to much more than even playing for minors. Like the experience of just being on the field with grown men is a different beast, and that's where you really learn how to play football.
Because you could be a god with kids your own age, but then I know players when I was their age and even now where with their minors, what is it to them? They move with the seniors and they can't even, they're too scared to even take a touch and control the ball. So yeah, like, oh man. But then nearing the end, like halfway through the season, that's why I hate playing on turf. Someone plays me a through ball and dribble the first guy. I think I'm free on goal. And then Mo comes on a slide tackle. He misses, but the follow through of his thigh like hits my ankle, and that would be okay. You know, you just slip and fall. Yeah. But my feet was planted, and all I hear was, and I'm like, no, fuck, he's done me something. Mm-hmm. I look, I didn't even want to look at. I walk off, and funny enough, we used to record our training sessions, and I went back to listen to the audio, and all you heard was, fuck, my leg. Yeah. And I'm like wobbling off, and I like sit down, and everyone's like, oh, he's okay. But nobody saw that my leg got trapped under there, and it kind of like folded on itself. And like the medic guy comes over, it's like, you get up here, and he sees my ankle like inflated like a balloon, and he turns red, and he's like, oh shit. Go to the hospital, they're like, like you have a severe high ankle sprain, and then I just start listing a bunch of nonsense. Mm-hmm. And like the worst part is like, how do you call your parents and say, hey, you know that half season I spent at Tulsa training and not playing? Yeah, like basically like broke my ankle just now. I was like, damn. And thankfully I had like a speedy-ish recovery, and I feel bad because they rushed me into health. Like the doctor says 4 to 6 weeks. 2 weeks later I was back jogging, you know? So it was impressive, but like I was like, guys, the doctors, they had me doing band work, the heat compress, everything they had to make sure I was, getting back to good. But then Valletta, the opportunity for Valletta came around.
That's the one I'm most interested about. Is how do you make the move from America to Malta? That's such a strange jump.
It really was. It was my agency had done work with Valletta in the past, right? Okay. So they were on good terms, good relationship. They knew each other. So my agent basically broke it down to me. He's like, okay, I have this player in the USL. Here is videos. Here's this. Here's his that. He's not playing, but he's good, and you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Yeah. And
this is where people don't realize the impact an agent can have on your career.
100%, because all you're doing as a player is on the field. Mm-hmm. The agent's the one behind the curtain, arguing and screaming and trying to get shit done for you. So he's like, I just need you to take a chance. Like, on my word, this is the kid. I know he can play. He's just not in the da-da-da. And Valletta at the time, they were doing great. They were second in the league. Their minors were first in the league.
Who was the coach at the time? Is it still the same one?
Portuguese dude, Jose Mendes or something like that. I think he's coaching Malta's youth team or something. Okay. So now when they give me this call, I'm only 1 month out of an injury. Mm-hmm. Like the injury was just recent. I'm like, damn. And then my dad's like, oh, I didn't even tell you this part. we're banking a lot on this. Yeah. And my dad's like, this is your shot. Like you need to, I'm like, are you healthy? And when they asked when the timeline on the injury was, I'm like, it's bad. It's 3 weeks. I'll be fine. I was not going to be fine. So they're like, should we go for it? And I'm like, I told my dad, yeah. And like, I'm doing this. I'm ready. I'm healthy. I'm ready to go in the slightest.
No.
I hadn't run. I think the day he told me it was October. Season ended in November. So I was like, damn. But like, thank God I got myself together. But the thing was, I could not strike a ball with my right. I could not lace a ball with my right foot. I had to, everything I was shooting.
Don't tell me that's why you became so consistent with that. I remember.
Everything.
So when we recorded that challenge video on Gargoyle Pitch, and you put 4 or 5 in the top corner the exact same way, me and Melvin looked at it after. We were like, yeah, wow, that's like the first time we've properly seen Tobi play. Like, there's a difference between Premier and Division 1, and it's consistency, isn't it? Like, he doesn't need much technique. He just places that ball in that top corner every time.
Bro. I was like, bro, it was me for like 3 months, just instepping. I wouldn't, the pain I was feeling was if I laced the ball, I would feel pain at the back of the ankle.
It's the overstretching of the ligaments, isn't it?
That was part of the injury. The ligaments were done.
Yeah, I've had it, bro.
It was on me to
show up.
Yeah, to show up. But like injured, I had to make sure I cut down the injury time and the rehab time. Like if they say do 4 to 6 of this one time a day, I was doing 8 to 12 3 times a day. Because what the fuck else are you gonna do? You know. So I'm with the resistance band. We had the greatest. Michael Drack was his name.
Okay,
and he was the fitness coach at Tulsa's complex. This dude had me from like a fucked ankle. Before I left, I was running a 10-meter dash in under like 9.92 seconds, under a second. That was like the fastest on the team. So it was me and him on a daily basis together because we only had to train once a week. I was in that place. Yeah. So thanks to him, bro. He really, really helped me, showed me a few exercises to be doing on my own. So when I got to Malta, I looked healthy. I wasn't healthy, but I was healthy enough
to get by. So I remember we landed, we met Jerry. The conditions were he was going to be signed to the first team for work permission, but he was going to play for the juniors. What his performance would determine whether he goes up, he stays. And we also have to understand, we're taking a risk because we're giving up a foreigner spot to a kid that isn't guaranteed on the starting 11. So it was a lot of pressure, but I was like, I can do it. You're ready for it.
Yeah, like what else am I gonna do?
You've had enough setbacks.
Exactly. Now I have to play.
This is the one. I'm gonna make this happen regardless.
I remember my coach, Johan at Valletta. He was cool. We would train down at Sweet? No, not Sweet. I think it was Sijiwi. That's how you pronounce it. I don't like Maltese cities.
I've been practicing.
I'm renaming the whole country. For example, okay, you know what? For example, I live in Bujiba. Correct pronunciation, Bugiba. This is Naxar. It's not Nashar. Yep. We've got Paceville, not Patcherville.
Paceville. See, that's such a cooler name though as well.
Paceville, like it's a fast place. It should be Paceville. What else do we have? I've done the whole map. I'm trying to get it. We've got Mdina, bro. That's Mdina. Like I'm not with the nonsense. We've got. They said Shamshia. Only God knows how you're supposed to pronounce that one.
What's the other one? What's the ferry place? Chikara or something?
Bro, I don't even want to begin to pronounce these places, bro. Like, my friends get mad at me when they're like, "Oh, I called it Beccarara, you know, because that was I'm like, who we playing? I'm like, Beccarara? And they're like, Beccacara?
No.
Beccarara. I'm positive. I called it Hamron, not even Hamroon. Like, I just had because I'm reading these names like an English person,
of course,
not like a Maltese person. So Maltese people, like, whenever they hear me just say this, their body just cringe and they get so pissed off.
I remember bus drivers used to look at me like I was a moron when I first came to Malta, and I was getting the bus from Valletta and going, excuse me, do you go to Tarxian?
Bro, I swear that's what I named it. Because my friend Wellington, he played there. We had a game against. Yeah. And I'm like, I remember someone's like, I have to go to a game. They're like, who are you playing? I'm like, I looked at it. We're playing Tarxian. And they're like, who? I'm like, Tarxian. And like, I showed it to them. And they're like, bro, Tarshin. And I'm like,
that's not Tarshin.
That's not Tarshin, bro.
The other one that got me, Ormi with the Q.
Apparently they don't pronounce the Q.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, where are you? They said Ormi. I typed up ORI.
Yeah. And I'm looking everywhere. I'm like, where is this place?
Then I go, Ormi. I'm like, bro, that's Cormy, bro. The names got me. We got there. So we trained down there in Sijiwi. And I'm like, I'm nervous. Personally, and I think it was a good thing. My agent knew, because he had saw me play at Tulsa. He knew the level I was capable of playing at, what I was really like, right? And
you kind of have to trust your agent at that point that he's not setting you up to fail.
He wasn't. But you know what? In my head, he was like, bro, you're gonna have to step it up. Like he was making me kind of undersell myself. So like I really, really like put max effort and really go hard. And like I got to my first junior training and like I was underimpressed. I was impressed with these guys. These guys were nice. But then he made it seem like I was training with Barcelona. Yeah. Right. And I feel like that kind of mental what's the word I'm looking for here? Reverse psychology really got me and like made me kind of like settle down. And like I trained with these guys, they accepted me. All of us were cool. And I still call them and text all these guys, and because footballers, kind of really stick together. It was cool. And I remember he showed me the text message like the youth coach sent to Jerry. He's like, our savior for the season is here. After the first session, I'm like, did I really leave that good?
Who was the youth coach at that time?
Johan, I can't pronounce the last name. Skiluana. It's Italian.
Oh, Cicluna.
I'm tripping. So, I get there, but I can't play till January. Yeah. So this is December. I'm like, me and my friend Jordan Kelly, we just come back. Jordan had been there 6 months, couldn't play because they missed the transfer window. So we were training, excited. We get our first game. COVID happens. Like they had that little ups.
I was just about to, I always forget that actually COVID happened. Like, that was such an intrusion on everyone's season.
It hit me, but like it hit me when I was just breaking into the first team in Croatia for the first time. And I went home and I came back after the first hit of COVID.
So what year are we at this point?
2021 when December.
Okay, so this is about a year and a half into COVID.
Yeah. And get there and like COVID hits and they push a few games back or this happens. So we have to wait a few weeks. And what I've been told was, at first I was told you have to earn your place with the seniors.
Yeah.
A week later, I was training with the seniors.
Do you know what? That helps so many people in Malta because Malta relies so much on bringing players from other countries that when COVID hit and the airport was shut, suddenly teams were scrambling and they were like, shit, who's foreign and is actually in Malta? Who are the foreigners in Malta? We need to sign people. And suddenly you're getting all these players getting moves they would never have any business having just because they're there and they're able to actually turn up and play.
Bro, they were available. Man, it was the weirdest thing. But like I was like thinking, oh man, I really have to train. But like these guys come in and like a week later, I had impressed them enough to start training with the senior team because you don't want to bring in a youth player that's going to mess up the flow of the training. No. So I think they were scared about that.
What was your first impression of the seniors when you trained?
Jesus Christ, these guys are good. Jesus, these guys were good. And
people don't respect the level of Maltese football.
It's a step up.
There really is some real quality in Malta.
And especially the foreigners that come in and press the hell out of me. And like, it came to a point where like, they were so good. I was eager. I'm like, bro, we got to link up.
Yeah.
Like we would mesh so well. And a few players we did, we were like on the same wavelength. So I come in, I'm training with the seniors. I'm not playing. So in fact, my first game ended up being with the seniors because the juniors got delayed.
Yeah.
And I come in against Floriana. We're losing 2-0. It's somebody gets injured, but you know, I have my first professional debut.
Exactly.
So I was stoked for that. And, you know, I'm like, oh shoot, if I'm getting garbage minutes, maybe like this is a step up. Mm-hmm. And I start playing with the minors. The minors for me was probably the most fun I've had playing football in a while up to that point.
Minors football doesn't have that same intensity and physicality to it. So
but it had the same passion for these guys. When I came in, they set the expectations. We want to win the league. I'm like,
say no more.
I'm on it. What's the word? So we get there. First game is against Hibs.
Yeah.
And at this point, all the minor parents, the coaching staff, you know, the people around the team had seen me train, and they're like, oh shit, this kid's the real deal. Like this guy's nice, you know, right? Yeah. So the big expectations, right? Like I come in and my team was so, like, I was impressed with the minors, like Kelly, Leatherby. We had guys that were absolute ballers, Maltese youth national teams, some guys that get minutes with the senior team. These guys were ballers. And first game was Hibs, 6-0. Gave it to them flat. And I remember our captain scored a header off a corner. It was 1-0 at halftime. Thinking, damn, bro, I thought we'd blow these guys out. And that's how we gave them like five goals and a half. Scored 1, assisted 2. My friend Kelly had a hat trick in 30 minutes, right? And that's when I kind of realized like I was above the because I wasn't trying, but I didn't have to overexert myself to get something done.
To get the results you wanted.
To get like this, for this pass to go through, like the quality of the pass didn't have to be as good as the seniors.
You find because you've been exposed to senior football for that long period of time
that
now.
Going back to a minors league was like, it was baby food, you know? And for example, like I had to make a pass and there was only room for like 1 centimeter of error for that pass to get there. With the minors, it was like, there was a little bit more. There was a couple of, So it helped me, like, I can make that pass, bro, no stress. I can make that dribble, no stress. So it was nice. And now coming in to this team, they kind of changed their whole game plan to play around me. Now it was, oh my gosh, we have this big striker. Sorry.
Do you need to take it?
No, talk to Terrence. All right, let me just take it. Hello? So where did we stop off?
So you had just smashed Hibs 6-0.
I was scoring a goal, and assist a game. Yeah. Like I was getting at least 2 stats with the minors. We weren't losing.
So again, padding out stats.
And then at the same time, I'm training with the seniors. And now the seniors had fell from second to like third last in the league. And
they really hit a rough patch, didn't they?
They hit a rough, and it wasn't like the quality. These were talented guys.
And they had a lot of the same personnel that they had in previous years where they dominated and played so well together.
Something just wasn't clicking. Like, our strike force just wasn't clicking. Our defense just wasn't defending our middle.
What was the Italian's name? It's Fontanella, right? He is a baller. He is sick.
That guy made me love football so much. And you know, his English was like, Italian English. And he used to tell me like, Tobi, believe me, old guy, you young, I ran for you, you score. Dude is hilarious. But you know, he was like one of another people that I'm happy I played with because I improved and experienced.
Get serious experience
I really
from
learned a lot.
players like that. Yeah.
So when I'm now, like, Valletta's losing games, I'm training with the seniors, but I'm not playing. So coach gets fired. And I'm like, okay, new coach in, shit might shake up. Nothing shook up for like 2 weeks. And I was playing with the minors at this time. And I enjoyed playing with the minors. It was a real blessing. And I remember we had, I remember it was one of my best footy moments. We had a top spot game to play against Cameroon.
Yeah.
Winner goes first place. And, you know, all mans are hyped. We dropped points. We had like a tie, 2 ties. That's why they came in. And in like the first 5 minutes, my friend throws a throw in, like, body the hell out of this one defense. And that was one thing I liked, is that I was so much stronger than the guys I was playing with, because I've played with people like Mo. I've played, you know, other big
Not
players.
only are you bigger than most of them, but you actually know how to use your body. You've got that level of experience.
I was like, the goal. So in fact, I can send you a bunch of these clips.
Yeah. We'll have it. That's what the green screen's are for.
Okay. Like, bro, I bodied this one kid, dribbled with I dribbled with my, you know, when you like, I had to like dribble, but the ball wasn't on the ground. So I was dribbling with the inside of my thigh, left foot volley, goal. I took another shot, goalie deflected it. My friend Antaeus, goal. We went up 2-0. We ended up tying the game 2-2. And we didn't lose, but we lost top spot. And like, that was my last game with the seniors, with the minors. And that was around February 28th or something.
Okay.
Now we come in and I'm like, new coach comes in, plays the striker. Striker doesn't score for 2 games. And then coach just ran, like, I used to, for example, minors play on Mondays. I don't play with the seniors yet. I know I train, but every time the list comes, I know my name's not there. So I think let's say the game is like Saturday afternoon. Friday night, I'm out with the guys, you know, because I know I'm not playing. So I'm like, wait for my, and then I get the notification of the list is out. I'm like, let me just see who the coach picked this week. And I'm like, I see it. I'm like, oh, okay, Promise. And I put my phone down. I'm like,
wait, what?
Oh, damn. It's against Monza? Bro, I start sprinting to my car. I drive home. If I call my parents, I'm on the list. I'm on the list. I might play. Go to sleep, wake up. I'm amped, got my music going. Coming, and then we played the game. We're down 2-0.
Okay.
Coach calls me to get warmed up. I'm like, so in my head, coming on as a sub, it's the type of mindset. I call it like whatever time's on the clock. I'm like, okay, 20-minute drill.
Yeah.
Let's just start with the first goal, and then we'll see where we're gonna find the second. And I said something wrong? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like 20-minute drill. Let's get it. Coming to the game, I am scared shitless.
Yeah.
Bro, I was nervous. It's as if I've never played football in my life. The ball was moving the same pace the ball always, but to me it was supersonic. I was trying to find my footing. I couldn't find it. Boom.
What pitch are you playing at?
Hibs.
And
it's Hibs ground. So the grass is ripping.
Yeah.
So we're down 2-0. And we need this game to stay alive to make it in the top 6. So we go, Mario scores a penalty. And for some reason, that penalty made me like gain a certain amount of belief, like, oh shit, we can really do this. So game comes. My center mid, Ivan, plays Andrea Zamit. Shout out Andrea. He's still at Valletta. And this is the one thing I like about training with different amount of people. If I train with you for 6 months, I know how you play. So if I see a ball down the line, I know that you're more likely to cut back or you're more likely to cross the ball. Playing with Andrea knew I'm coming, I'm running first post, but then I'm dropping off and I want to cook back. So it was a very unique moment where I didn't have to
telepathically.
I didn't have to say anything. And he'd even he just saw it. He's like, okay, I told you. So he played the cutback, goal 2-2. Just like that, I've got the starting job. And I think I started every game or played 90 minutes every game.
Was that your first professional goal? That was
my first professional goal. Bro, I think
Tell me the feelings, bro. Tell me the feelings.
Scored. I was in, and it was a left foot. Weak foot. Maybe I got a 3-star weak foot, It was a left foot on the ground. I just smashed it. And like, I leaned back. You know, if you lean back, ball's gonna skyrocket. But for some reason, ball stayed straight on the ground. I was in so much shock that it had gone in. I fell. Like, nobody can see it, but you saw me fall.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Like, I went, and I'm like, go get the ball. Like, we still need one more just in case,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't breathe. I felt like I needed an inhaler. I was so hyped. And even though like it wasn't the result we wanted, but we could live with it, I was so hyped. I'm like, oh my gosh, I scored. I remember I was driving home, like my dad was at church, and how did it go? You were at church, and then you got the notification that I came in, and then like I had scored, and then everybody at church like saw him like celebrating. Everybody's like, what are you celebrating, bro? He's like, he scored. Because of the time difference. Yeah, it was Sunday, so it was Saturday, and I was out. Yeah, he scored.
That's when the choir breaks into chorus.
Bro. You would have thought a miracle happened, right? And like just like that, like, you know, everything changed. Like it was straight up from there. I was like 90 minutes. Next game, Begakaro goal. Next game, Tarshian 2 goals. Didn't score, assisted Sirenes. It was like probably the game of my life. And now I'm training, right? I've got like the respect of my teammates, of my coaches. I'm no more that youth player they took a chance on. Now I'm like the starting striker that's delivering constantly. So it was a real step up for me. And bro, Mario, I could take a page out of Mario. He like that inside the foot finish, like we would stay after training. Yeah. And like he would make fun of me that that instep finish, like his was like it was like almost perfect. And like, you know, he'd nail a ball at me and it's like, look, your technique sheets. And I'd be like, bro, like I'm not, and I know it's not that bad. And he made me realize like the difference.
That's what separates a goal scorer getting 10 goals a season like and a goal scorer getting
the ball would come to him, he'd trap it one touch, and then at the point, the ball would come to me, God, shift the body, and like if we kept on doing it, he'd force me to train, and I got really good at it. Mm-hmm. So people like that really just, you know,
helped you to that next level,
and not even just in training on the pitch. I think we combined for a few goals, you know, a few goals, few assists, good play, good link up. And we were able to avoid relegation. We saved our season by almost, you know, qualifying for Conference League. Sad we didn't win, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. So that like 8-month stretch at Valletta and with the minors, sometimes I'm playing 2 games within 72 hours, you know, I'm playing 90 with the seniors and then I'm running and I'm playing 90 with the juniors. So, you know,
but that really kind of was the Kickstarter to your career where it is now.
Yeah. In fact, that was the reason I was able to get national team attention, you know, or even like be able to like not apply, but like,
get on the radar.
Get on the radar. So that was a big, you know, doors opening.
While we're on that subject, tell me a little bit about the U23 Nigeria camp experience you had.
That was interesting. So it was the AFCON qualifiers that they were setting up for, and excited I got the letter, more than happy.
How does the process work? How did they initially reach out to you to tell you they're on your radar? You're on their radar, or
my dad and my agent, they made contact, you know, talk to the press, coaches make their decision, this happens, that happens, who do you know type of thing, like who you representing, who's your guy. So lo and behold, after a bunch of like steps, we get the invite, and I get to camp, and these guys are like ballers. Yeah. Like some of them were like average, but like we got there October, right? It was in October. Guys were ballers. I'm talking like, especially being Africa, like people were just natural. Yeah. People were just naturally human, like freak athletes. There was this one guy, the goalkeeper was 210 centimeters. I saw this guy throw the ball box to box, no bounce. He goal kicked it one bounce, it was out for a goal kick, you know. But at the end of the day, like the guys we were with, I'm happy. Like some were foreigners, some were natives, so everybody meshed. Like we were just one big group. Everybody wanted the best for each other, play or no play, because it was a camp of 30.
Were there any kind of notable names there on the camp?
Not at this stage, but there were guys. In terms of foreigners, there were guys. Me, Malta, Ireland. There was a guy from the his name. Can't remember his name. Arsenal under 23. He played through the ranks. Now he's playing Chesterfield.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Nigerian. Tim Akinola or something, or Io, something like that.
Akinola, I think.
Yeah. He's at Chesterfield. He played at Arsenal. We had guys from First Division Turkey, one from Sweden. So
there really are these.
It's a spread.
For people, this is like the cream of the crop.
Yeah. And
Nigerian talent.
There's so many Nigerian players that they just want to get, they get you now.
Exactly.
And then maybe they'll get the next person now. So, but at the end of the day, everybody benefits from getting a national team stamp.
Of course,
and everybody goes, so the whole country progresses in a way. But it was fun. Got in, next day I was playing to Tanzania.
Yeah.
I came in as a substitute 30 minutes and we ended up tying 1-1. But how many players get the honor or the chance to say I played for my country, so it wasn't something I took lightly.
It's a huge achievement.
Huge one. And
big notch on your belt in terms of professional experience. Your career trajectory goes from here, skyrockets up now.
So we won. After 2 legs, we win. We move on. And I'm expecting to go back, March? And I think we're playing, I can't remember, but Angola? Yeah. So that one will be another step up. But, so happy to just finally cross that off. And,
because that is sort of like football bucket list type.
Yeah. I'm sad I didn't score.
Here.
I'm sad. I had this one opportunity, but I made the opposite run and he thought of the opposite pass. And I was like, damn.
That's where you don't have quite enough time to really gel and get that chemistry that you get with your club teammates.
Yeah,
like you were saying with Andrea.
Oh, no.
You guys knew telepathically you're doing that.
Me and all my wingers and my midfielders of Villa, we knew. In fact, the goal against Santa Lucia in the semifinal, I was complaining to my dad. He's like, "Oh, did you call for it?" And I'm like, "I didn't have to call for it." When the ball came down the line, I need to pause. One second.
Yeah, no worries.
So, that national team was like a whole 3-week experience. Plus, I got to go see my parents because I haven't been back for a while. And
it's always nice to get time to return back to homeland.
That was the guy from Arsenal. Tim Chesterfield, dude was nice. So really meet some ballers, and you see the difference between European and African standard.
You can see which players kind of come from which region.
Physical.
When you start to learn the different kind of styles that each region has.
And can you
remember
adapt?
When I was at college playing in America, we had a few South Americans, a few North Americans, a few Europeans, and the styles all coming together. You could tell immediately what area someone had come from just from the way they played.
It was mad. But I came back, started playing for Sirenes. Me and Sirenes had a little.
What led to the transfer to Sirenes then? So tell me, what did you achieve with Valletta? So you got to cup final.
Cup final. Remained in the league. Maybe I think 6 or 7 goals in 10 appearances and 3 assists. And
there were talks for you to stay at Valletta.
Yeah, I thought I was signing a 2-year deal, but nothing in soccer is official. Yeah. So stamp it. So, I thought they in my analogy was they risked a test drive on a car. The car drove well.
Overperformed.
Yeah. Now it's time to pay the car. And they're like, and the president had just stepped down at the time. So it was just a bunch of messes. It was just a big mess. So we ended up just jumping ship to Sirenes. There were a few other clubs, lots in the challenge division, 2 or 3 in the Premier.
What sort of teams were coming in for you?
We had interest from Pieta. We could have stayed at Valletta if they offered something last minute. Sirenes. One Mosta, Hamroon-ish. Funny enough, remember that game I told you I had with Hamroon, the 2-2?
Yeah.
I told the fans to go fuck themselves. Because me and the goalkeeper had got into like an argument where, you know, he called me this nasty name, and I obviously I got pissed off. And then the rematch, I wasn't playing, and my friend Kieran scored out. I'm gonna show you that video. It was a bang. The free kick, ball gets cleared out. He touches it down 35 yards, top bins. If you heard my voice in the recording, it was like, you know when someone screams so loud, the audio just, bro, I was screaming, was slamming on the glass in Hamroon Stadium. And then, you know, Maltese people, they have their songs, you know, so we were singing Fushe Hamroon, and I was the choir master. I was leading that thing like an orchestra. I was giving out the finger to these Hamroon.
So that kind of got rid of the deal with the Hamroon.
Like, I remember, you know, I was like, shit. Oh, worth it. In fact, you would have thought I was drunk and like, oh my gosh, I was high off emotions.
Just off the energy of the game,
So I was like, Sirenes was like, yo, you know, you played good against us. We see what you can do. Why not bring you here? And I'm like, cool. Signed. I was happy to sign, happy to stay, because I wanted a full season.
Yes.
To see where I could really, you know, stat-wise, where I could rank myself.
And I know everyone, because me and you had met by this time. Yeah. And I remember me and Melvin. April we met just as you'd started playing a few games in the seniors for Valletta.
We met outside, no? Yeah, I remember.
Just through Melvin, and then kind of from there we started talking about you eventually coming onto the podcast.
I definitely like the what was it? The 5v5s.
Yeah.
Are they coming back this year?
Yeah, for sure.
And I won't even be there.
I'm going to do a few more, and I'm going to make it bigger, better, try to get some sponsors involved.
I've been trying to get who talk to him today.
Yeah. So at that point, everyone kind of in your circle around here were buzzing. Yeah. Because you moving to Sirenes, everyone saw that as guaranteed game time. Yeah. You're going to get your opportunity to really show yourself now.
Yeah. And nope, didn't happen. You know, played a few games. I think I started one against Malta, had an assist, next game, bench. So that's what I'm saying. Like football, it's really, it's a mental, you have to have mental fortitude, because you could be up one day and down the next.
And it really is a gamble, isn't it? It's like gambling away your future. Every decision you make impacts you.
It impacts,
and impacts your career trajectory so much. And it's a lot of pressure to put on young players. Hey, who are you going to play for this year? You have people telling you everything you want to hear.
And then you have some people, I'm gonna keep it real with you, but then at the end of the day, they might not keep it real. So it's a big risk, but you just have to live with it.
What do you credit to you not playing for Sirenes? What do you think it really was at the end of the day?
Coach's opinion, you know,
just wrong system.
Yeah, the way he wants to go. Let's say Promise plays this way, maybe coach wants it this way, but then when you're low manned or low staff, you know. Put a brother in, but he just didn't want to go that route.
Who was the coach at the time?
Winston. Here at Sirenes? Yeah, Winston. Okay. He's still the coach. I have nothing against them, you know. When you're the coach, you're the captain of the ship. Sink or swim is on you feel me? So
coach has to back his system.
His system, right? So
sometimes it just doesn't work for certain players.
So
it's the way football is.
Bingo. So it wasn't that rough of a patch, but it was a little rough patch where I'm like getting slow minutes. Maybe I don't play this week, and this week I play. So it was like, man.
It's led to promising opportunities though. The reason you're here today, we're talking, actually we're getting text messages throughout about you officially putting pen on paper and signing, doing your TMS.
So
tell us about the move. Tell us how it came about.
Came about 6 months ago. No, summer. The day I signed for Sirenes, my agent's like, this team just asked you to come on loan. And then I remember we texted the president like, yo, this team, Estonia, they play this. They're playing UEFA competitions. Like, go on loan. And they're like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then my agent was, scrambling, trying to find something for me. And lo and behold, this team came back on the market. And we're like, okay, let's take a chance. So they're like, okay, we'll come on. They're like, can we see what he played this season? And like, he ain't played jack shit, right? So like, okay, we have to do like a trial because we don't want to be any risk. We come through trial, you know, a lot of pressure because it's make it or back to the situation.
Exactly, yeah.
Guy comes through. I fly to Estonia, me and my agent. We're there, start training. First 3 days, they're like, yeah, we're heavily interested. I'm like, whew. I play my first game. They're like, dang, it didn't translate. And then my agent's like, well, a player that hasn't played that many official matches, it's not going to be.
So what was the game? Friendly match?
It's friendly match. Okay. It was a friendly match. So, but they're like, we see a lot of promising things, but then we see a lot of things we have to work on. And they're like, so after like 3 weeks, they finally make up their mind. They're like, okay, under some heavy conditions, they're going to do it. And then we call Sirenes. And then Sirenes is like, no. And we're like, what do you mean? No.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not playing. I want to leave. You know I want to leave. Like, let me go. And they're like, no, we need you for next season.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm like, I'm not a science project. You know? Like, I want to play now.
And you know, next season they're going to sign 5-6 more players.
It could be anything, bro. Like, I was sick of it. So after a bunch of arguing, I'm surprised, you know, if my dad had hair, he would have lost it again. But like, bro, me and my agency, we fought, we argued, we negotiated. We had to give up an inch. They had to give up a mile. But like at the end of the day, I think today's the closing. Yeah. So like just now, we closed on everything.
6 hours, 20 minutes to get everything signed, all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed.
Let me make sure that document went through.
We're going to start to unwind the podcast now. Obviously, you're a busy man. You've got a few things to sort out. Yeah. I don't want to hold you. Don't want to be the reason that this deal doesn't go through. And we're giving you the direct scoop, obviously, as it goes down. I feel like, you know, the transfer deadline day programs. So we've got you live here.
You remember watching transfer deadline day, like the on the
Premier League?
On the Premier League stuff.
So intense.
And it'd be like, breaking news, Fernando Torres to Chelsea, record. And then you'd be like,
So I'm going to go through just some personal questions just so we can start wrapping up.
For sure.
Tell me the best teammate that you've played with. Can either be the best in terms of ability or kind of most famous, most like notoriety in football.
Famous. I'm going to have to pause on the thing. The best teammate I've ever played with, Malcolm. We had it was at my team in Vaughan just before I left. Canada. We had our captain was named Malcolm, and
got a last name.
Malcolm Johnston. Can't forget his last name. It just sounds so silky. Malcolm was funny. He was everything you need in a captain, but he wasn't loud. Uh-huh. You know, he'd hold you to certain expectations as a captain. He was our midfielder. You know, just a general on the field. Now signed he went to school. Maryland. Now he's at New York City FC. I think he went in the draft.
Okay.
So and like when you watch him play, you would think he doesn't run out of energy. Dude could play like 2 games back to back. So he's one of the best players I've played with. At Valletta for me, it was Mario Fontana.
Yeah.
Bro. It's just because that guy, like, you know, he'd look for me, I'd look for him. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just a partnership duo where we just knew and we linked.
Andy Cole, Dwight York.
We just knew where we
chemistry.
Were. We were on the same page. So, yeah, shout out Mario. I think he
went off to the Middle East.
Emirates. And I think his team's just about to win.
Yeah.
Just about to win. He's banging goals still.
Right. Best opponent. So, same question, flipped. Who's been on the other side of the field to you that you've looked at and gone, wow, this guy is absolutely unreal?
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
I was, where was Disney? We went with my Vaughan team. We used to go travel. So we went to something called the Disney tournament.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest college, you know, scouts coming in. So we played against this school team. It's called Montvert. And they had like the regular high school team, but then they had Montvert like platinum or something.
Okay.
And these kids were scouted, brought straight out of Africa and given high school education and they train. And I mean, we saw them play the year before. They ruined our older team. Now it's our turn. Came through where everybody's nervous. Like, we know these guys are like demons.
Yeah.
Bro. Warm up, we're serious. Everybody's locked in. Like, we're warming up. We know it's the game of our lives. These guys don't even come onto the pitch yet. 20 minutes before game time, they roll in, pass the ball. Game time comes. Luckily enough, we gave them 3-0. I even scored a hat trick.
Yeah.
Like 10, 15 minutes. Header in the second minute. A cut back, and then one of them was remember that goal Fernando scored against Man City where like the ball came over, they misjudged it, ball bounced, 3-0.
Yeah.
We think it's smooth sailing. After 3-0, they turned on. And the defender, I thought I was a big guy. I'm like, yo, that's 3 goals in 15 minutes, but I can get one more. I didn't get a good proper touch for the rest of the game. They switched on. It was like they told them they were going to eat tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I can't remember anything about him. But these are guys that are getting looks at like Man U, Real Madrid. Like some of these guys are going straight to the league after. They're not going to school.
No.
And it wasn't an opponent, like a Pacific player. Their whole team was just ridiculous.
Dynamite,
One defender hit a ball. It shocked all of us. Corner of the box to the other corner of the box, streamlined. The guy received the ball like Zlatan, brought it off his chest, dribbled our left back, sat him on the ground, talked it. These guys just had so much skill. We were like, what are we up against? Yeah. Within 15 minutes, they brought it back to 3-3. We were like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
what happened to our 3-1 lead?
What do we do?
They ran rapid. They were pacey. We were good.
It's
we
like
were
when you turn
squad.
sliders on FIFA and turn everything.
That's
up to
exactly
100%.
what it was. That's exactly what it was. We were distraught. And we ended up tying up 4-4. Capetti scored the 4th goal, but these guys were like, nowadays, I wish I could like search them up and find out where they are. I know one of them is like 3 of them are in MLS, just, chilling. Yeah. But we were like, they didn't even take us serious. And we put 3, and then we made like a bad joke, like these kids fresh off the boat, they told them, you're going back to we're going back tomorrow. They switched and they ran through us like nothing.
Yeah, you just pissed them off at that point.
Bro.
Woke them up.
Do you remember the call they had? They had a signal like, we had a signal. They had a signal like if they wanted the ball, it'd just be this.
Yeah, that's when you know players are serious. When they don't talk, they whistle or they make little like noises just to.
Oh, they cut through the air.
111 games.
They had a 150 game win streak, not just like no losses, like a win streak. Yeah. And I remember like the winger would want the ball and he'd go, and the center back would hear him, boom, ping, ball's gone. And everybody was like. Bro, we made fun of it so much. They were the best.
Right. Underrated player. Someone that you've played with that you feel like doesn't get the respect they deserve, should be playing at a much higher level. Oof.
Underrated. I'm going to speak based in Malta, the most underrated player I've played with. I don't think he's underrated. I'm just really waiting for him to get his
breakthrough.
90-minute, Sheldon, he was my captain at Valletta. He was captain of the minors. Sheldon and Kieran. Kieran was our center mid. Sheldon was our center back, wing back.
Do you know their last names?
Sheldon McKay, Kieran Fennick.
Okay.
Great players. And when we were at Valletta, they're minor players. It's kind of, there's not a lot of room, but I could tell, and I think national team players too. I could tell like, these guys are mentally above, the rest of them, and they were just fantastic players.
Right. What team do you support?
Chelsea, till I die.
Yeah.
Blue till I. I mean, when it's not going good for us right now, everybody's gonna troll us.
Who was your favorite player growing up? What player got you inspired?
Drogba. I used to watch him on TV. And like nowadays, because Drogba retired early, not early, but I watched him late. But like since 2010, Drogba. I used to watch these goals. That celebrate. Oh, that shit was crazy.
Was that one of the 6 celebrations?
It was the second. It was the second one. I promise, it was the second one. And then it kind of shifted between Drogba. When Drogba retired, it kind of transformed into Hazard. And then Hazard left, and it kind of became a mix of No, it went Drogba, and it's been Drogba all the time. But then Balotelli, I think
Balotelli captured everyone's attention.
I was like, this guy is just
the arrogance that he played with. I love
confidence. You say arrogance, I say confidence. Balotelli at the time for me was just golden, and it was like Hazard. But now I'm just, who at Chelsea can you really call your favorite player as we're chilling in 10th right now?
Kante.
Injured. Kante's been injured for like a year, bro.
Yeah, there's a rebuild needed there for sure.
And those Americans.
Favorite manager you've trained under?
Ooh. I've loved most coaches I've had.
Yeah.
Most. From Coach Louise, Brampton East. He, really made me start liking soccer, even though when you're that young, you don't really understand the tactics. You're just there. What he used to say whenever we were losing, Red Devils. And then we had this one saying, whenever we were losing, he said, wake up and smell the coffee. Yeah, him. From there, it went to Cal Fletcher. Cal Fletcher's really when I'm like, oh, shoot, soccer's like you can really do this. And he remember we used to go for runs randomly, during the season. He'd just make a sprint and run. He's like, we're not going to be the best, we're going to be the fittest. Danny de Abela-Borg. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
QPR Rangers?
Yeah.
He was my first coach at Toronto FC.
That's an old school
footballer. And I used to come to I would even buy proper boots for games. I'm like, what the hell are boots? I can score. So I used to come with like these Umbros or like these old, and I remember Danny gave me my first pair like real boots, and they're like Nitro Chargers. Do you remember? Like the neon green one? Because he saw me training, he's like, let's get some real, so because it's TFC, it's got like a huge ass boot room. So let's get this kid some kicks. So yeah, Danny de Abela-Borg. I didn't like my next one, won't name it. Then at Vaughan, Patrice Geyser, Jordan Feliciano, Anthony Vidori.
I never forget that Danny de Abela-Borg.
Danny de Abela-Borg is nice.
He called to me one day, one sideline, because I wasn't happy because he doesn't get enough time to play at TFC Academy. And he called me and said, you know what? Very soon, Promise they're gonna let go of him. But all I want to tell you, don't let this boy quit soccer, because
he's going places.
He's gonna get a great talent and he loves to play. But keep him up and push him up. It's gonna be one of the great things tomorrow.
Funny enough, he was the TV presenter. He was a sports spokesperson during the halftime of the channel that showed Premier League games. Yep. So I remember I used to watch I was watching all these games, and then I'd see the name Danny de Abela-Borg come up, and then I randomly, the first time I went to TFC, and I'm like, yo, you're the dude from Sports. You're the dude from Sports Center. Then but Vidori. That was like, to me, that was one of my best coaches from like 15 to 18. For not just on the field, but like just making you a proper human being, off the field lessons. He was like a real father. In fact, when we had the first issue with the agency, Vidori is the first person we set our contract to like, yo, does this check out? And till this day.
Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, he's one of my guys. Croatia, they're like my first coach, but the youth coaches were nice to me. Tulsa, even though me and the coach didn't get along, or he didn't play me that much. Yeah. Still like the guy. And then here at Valletta in Malta, it's been a cool one, but Vidori and Fletcher, de Abela-Borg might be a out there. But I can't really pick a top three, but those three I really don't have.
Right, we got a couple would you rathers now. 8 penalties or 5 tap-ins in a season.
In a regular season, 8 penalties or 5 tap-ins. 5 tap-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never took penalties.
Penalties don't count.
It's not that they don't count, but like I was never the penalty taker. Right? Okay. No. I'll have to send you the video. Okay. I don't run for my penalties.
Okay.
I pug but walk.
Okay.
Like I just chill, and like a step before I like I don't even know where I'm going. Yeah. Like I'll just shoot it, right? And it really hasn't let me down. But I don't take penalties unless I get them after the age of like. I didn't take up my first penalty. I think I took it at like, unless it was a penalty shootout. I took my first penalty. No, Vaughn. Yeah, but that's a shootout. I'm talking about in games. Like in games, I don't take my penalties unless I get them, right?
Because
yeah. So tap, it happens. Yeah.
Okay. Right. World Cup or Champions League? What would you rather win?
Everyone's gonna hate me. It's the wrong choice. But I'd rather win a Champions League than a World
football,
Cup.
bro. Club football.
I'd rather win a Champions
Club
League.
football's serious.
Because how many games is Champions League? You've got 6 knockout.
Well, now especially the Champions League format coming in now. It's crazy.
Apparently Champions League is getting more teams, more games. But before it was 6 group stage, you've got 2 quarter 16s, 2 quarters.
A lot of games.
Yeah,
a lot of games
I'm doing Champions League.
League Golden Boot or a cup win? So not the league, but you win the cup or you win top scorer in the league. What would you prefer?
Everybody would say top scorer, but I think about it. If you win the league, that means you're taking part interactively.
You're not winning the league though. You're winning the cup.
You win the cup?
It's either cup run and you win the cup, or you can win top scorer of the league.
But if you win a cup run and you're a player, you have to have done something on the field to win that cup.
Exactly.
So you might have scored a few goals. So I think the best of both worlds, take the cup.
Taking the cup. Right. 250K a week contract for 1 year in Qatar.
Yeah.
Or a 5-year deal at Chelsea, but you're only being paid expenses. So you get no other money.
Sponsorships?
Nothing. Chance to play for your favourite home club.
That's actually a bad one.
Yeah, tough question.
If I was a kid, man, like if I was like 18, 19, yeah, but like growing up, bro.
Football's a business. You've got to make your money to survive.
It's at a certain point you have to start trying to make your own money.
Everyone I've asked has said money.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not the guilty one. Let me
don't feel
start
guilty.
to make money.
Don't feel guilty. That 1 year deal sets you up for life.
250K 1 year for 4 years.
No, so 250K a week for 1 year.
A week? Yeah, I'm taking the money. I thought a week. I'm taking the money.
Dad's getting a big house.
A week. 250K is a yearly salary. God.
Right, so 500 career goals or 1,000 career games?
What's my goal to game ratio?
We'll say you get 250 goals.
500 goals.
Yeah.
500 goals.
And final question, play in the Premier League in England or play in La Liga?
Prem.
English Super League.
Yeah.
English Super League.
Everybody wants to play in La Liga, but can he do it on a cold night in Stoke?
Right, Toby, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Sure. Where can people find you online? What's your Instagram?
Instagram, txby.72.
Will be behind us on the screen. We're going to conclude the episode there.
For sure.
Like we said, transfer deadline day. People got places to be.
Contracts to sign.
And Tobes, it's been a pleasure having you on, bro.
For sure.
Good luck in Estonia.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
I want to see some big headlines coming up soon.
Oof.
Goals scored.
Too. Yeah,
trophies won.
Trophies won, goals scored, games finished.
I'll be keeping in touch with you for sure. 100%. And then who knows? Maybe you come back on in a year or two's time, and we got some better stories to tell as well.
What season is that going to be? Season 4?
Probably season 8 by that time. The way I put these out, you're the only episode of season 2. I released one episode and go incognito.
Oh Lord!
3 months.
Oh man.
Anyway, bro, it's been a pleasure having you on. We'll finish it there, guys. 100%. If you've enjoyed the episode, leave a like, drop a comment if there's anyone you'd like to see on the podcast, and make sure you subscribe so that you can see future episodes of the Unprofessional Footballer Podcast.
For sure.
See you later.
Wraps.